we're live. Are we live yet? Here, like, let's drop our. Here.
Boobies and Blues, September 28th. Ground Zero Biloxi. Get tickets at groundzerobiloxi.com or carterschampions.com. You don't want to miss this event. 2024 Pink Dress Run, October 19th. Sign up at pinkdressrun.com or carterschampions.com. All money raised from our events go to Memorial Hospital Foundation. We've raised over $400,000 to help fight breast cancer right here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Come out and have a good time. If you don't want to make it out, donate. There's a link on our website. Go to carterschampions.com or pinkdressrun.com. Can't wait to see you there.
Me awful home auto emotional for shots is rich.
I was wondering.
There's a storm coming, but we're here talking about beer. Okay, we're talking about Lost Spring Brewing.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah.
Ocean Springs. Y'all building a crowd.
We're trying, man. We're trying our hardest.
One pint at a time.
Figure out who they are. Okay. Number one, already put it in the description. Two, what made y'all create Lost Spring?
Oh man. It's something I've been planning on doing for years. I mean, like basically since brewing beer is like really all I've done professionally. Been doing it since I was like 19. So it was always kind of a goal to start a brewery. I didn't think it happened quite as fast as it did, but moved down here and I met the right people. Daniel was one of them. He had been running the beer house downtown Ocean
Might need to
Springs.
bring the mic up just a little bit with the live.
Bring it up. I got you.
Okay.
But yeah, he was running the beer house and loved beer, and I had been brewing for a long time. I had a little homebrew system. I say little, it was really like almost as nice as the system I run at the brewery. But a long time building that system. But we started brewing together like in 2019.
Yeah.
Sometime like that. Kind of with the plan of opening a brewery, and then found a space and just decided to go for it.
He actually brewed the beer for remember what was it? The plum for
we brewed, yeah, we while we were setting up for the brewery, one of the first beers, some people probably don't even know this, but we brewed a beer. We went through the process of getting Mosaic certified as a brew pub because it's like honestly pretty easy to do. Yeah. And we brewed a couple beers for them under like the name of Mosaic or the Beer House Brewing or something. Yeah. Just to kind of like see what the reaction was, and it was overwhelmingly supportive. We sold the whole couple batches we did like in one night type of thing, you know.
What are you talking batches? They're like gallons? Like where are we at on gallons?
I think we were doing 30 gallons
yeah.
at that time. So it's like one barrel of beer. Like a barrel of beer is like 32 gallons. So that's like professional breweries are all rated usually either by barrels or hectoliters, but that's more of a European thing. So it's like we're brewing on a 2-barrel system right now. So that means like when we package beer, we expect to put out 64 gallons of beer, like keg beer.
So the idea of y'all doing a small 32-gallon barrel.
Yeah, so it was like a single barrel batch.
So it was like a light pale, like a.
Yeah, so it was like the precursor to 1699, which is one of our like top selling flagships right now. Kind of just like
piece. That was the name of it. Side piece.
It was called Side Piece. Yeah. Side Piece Blonde Ale. We hopped it up a little bit more and re-released it as a pale ale, but yeah,
it's proof of concept.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's try it out.
Like, yeah, we got an opportunity to see if it would work, and look at that, it does. So
Daniel at the beer house, which shout out to DJ and Micah. This is one of the favorite spots with you.
Yeah.
How many beers you have on tap?
45.
45.
Yep.
So I mean, if you go like honestly, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah,
I brought strangers, and I just met them. Was like,
yeah,
walk this way to get beer. We're at the District Coffee Company. Shout out! I'm wearing their hat, their newest hat. Make coffee.
That's
ready
cool.
Again, hell yeah.
But I was just they walked past it and they're like, we're looking for beer, and I was like, they're looking for the one that closed down. What's that one?
Craft advisory.
Craft advisory.
And so I was like, no, but come here this way. So I just brought these ladies
Yeah.
to y'all's spot, and it was a hit. I mean,
Hell
y'all
yeah.
make really good beer.
Yeah, we try, man. We make a lot of different beers. We may not always have a big lineup on tap, but we've made like I think maybe slightly over 200 beers, like unique beers at Lost Spring. And we kind of just, try different things, try to find a beer that works and keep making it, and then experiment while we're ahead.
Do y'all ever get frustrated on like the idea of making this certain beer y'all been working really hard towards, and then you have it and it's like, it's just shit?
It happens.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. Not too often. I mean, like you were saying before we started, like dumping batches is like something that actually happens to like most breweries, most good breweries. Putting out bad beer is just like worse for your reputation and your overall perception than just like trying to sell a bad beer. So we've definitely had beers that like didn't come out like we wanted, and been like, oh, just send it down the tank and we'll start it over and try again, see what we can fix about it. But that doesn't happen too often. A lot of times there's not a lot of times where you try to brew like a new unique beer the very first time and it's like that is like exactly what it needs to be. But usually it's like, okay, it needs a little bit more of this, or like this happened, or we fermented it a little warm. Let's try cleaning it up a little, fermenting lower. So you kind of like workshop them. And we're on a size system where we're able to do that with like every beer, right? Where a lot of bigger batches, like you can't just sit there and make one beer wrong like 4 times and figure it out. It's like one and done. Like, oh, it didn't work. Like, try something else. But we get to like kind of bring things back and add what we want to them the second time. And
So you work in the same batch, and you can alter it.
well,
Make it work.
we're on such a small scale that we'll sell through batches really fast. So we can always have a batch come out and say like, it's not bad enough to dump, right? But it's just not quite what we imagined. So then we can rebrew it within a month or two, kind of with what we wanted the first time and the notes we took from the first batch to get it to where we want it. Yeah. And that's usually like how we end up developing beers that are like long mainstays, like our New England IPA, the Mississippi Hippie, 1699, our Pale Ale. Like those are the 2 top selling beers.
Do you and Daniel, do you get like randomly, because you run like being a part of Mosaics and running that shit? Do you like you hit them up and go, hey, got this idea?
We talk about it, like, for example, actually we're like talking about it when we were coming here. I was telling you about like, what did you do this with these beers? Because I had some really good beer in beer house, and then like put those ideas, like, what if? I mean, like he said, like if you have an idea and you think it's gonna work, it's really easy to try to do it because we can play with it like in like a little scale.
Can y'all get to the point though, like, so you're telling me these certain textures, like this one I'm having right here,
Yeah.
It's got a hint of coffee.
Yeah. No, so this is made with coffee in it.
Yeah, smooth.
And cacao. We've made this beer 3 times now. I love coffee beers. We work with a local roaster and just kind of play around with dosages. We've done coffee brown ales, this is like a coffee white stout, like I said. But so like this is a perfect example beer for that situation, because like the first time we came out with it, we put what we thought was the right amount of coffee and cacao in it, and those 2 are both kind of finicky about time. So like, yeah, it's like it came out and it was like really, really like this tastes like coffee, but that one tastes like just black coffee. And it still did really well. People liked it a lot. But like I said, amount of the ingredients, but do it for a longer time to kind of mellow it out. And that ended up working, I think, in our favor.
But also for y'all, it's to a trade-off. Like some of them are not the biggest hits, but the ones that win are just that kind of like, whew,
yeah,
we spent
so
long creating that beer. Like,
and there's like nothing better about brewing than like just getting a beer right where you want it, finishing it out and being like tasting it out of the tank. You're like, yep, we did real well on that one,
So if somebody stole your journal, you'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
That's a highly debatable fact, honestly.
Can I try some of that?
Sure.
Yes, I'm not. Well, let's see. We're just gonna pour it in here. This is a much different beer, so I don't know. I tried to get all the stuffs out of mine. So this isn't made by us. This is one of our favorite breweries over in New Orleans called Parlo. Delicious beer.
So I'm gonna share a little small story. Zony Mash Project.
Yep.
I was on a vacation 2 years ago with. Gotta watch that cord that might pull out. I mean, we're not the best production.
No, you're
I'm
good.
sorry, it's just
You're
me and my
good.
stepdad. But we're at Zony Mash Project,
Yeah.
and me and Emily were on vacation for 3 days, shooting photography. Just that's my spot. I just want to go there.
Yeah.
I walk in. I met Mitch and Adam, the owners.
Yeah.
And they're like, we've been trying to get distribution into Mississippi, but the way Adam, the main owner, was playing with Oliver, he was playing the big Jenga game that Juke Joint has,
Yeah.
treating him like gold, buying us beers. I was buying them beers.
Oh, that's
One of Emily's friends, Jared, he's a football coach over there at the private school in downtown. But like, I was so blown away by how he was. He was like, man, we've just been trying to get distribution. And I was like, I got friends that do distribution.
Yeah.
So I called Ryland at FEB.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, I signed a contract.
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah.
But it was
That's
because of the
awesome.
fact the way they treat it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. You never know who you're gonna run into.
And it was cool. That to me, that was like,
it's cool to make those.
it's personal for
connections
y'all.
like that.
Like y'all sharing a beer, like whiskey, sharing a beer, socializing.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, man.
You don't go, you don't. Just have to be out there.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Exactly.
And always treat people right because you never know who you're gonna run into that could help you out like that. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
That was one of the coolest. I remember calling you and be like, hey, they just signed a contract. That was so cool because they've been trying to get, distribution stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Are y'all ever going to move into that?
Maybe.
Yeah, but
Maybe.
Come on. I mean, it's got to be that kind of ticker, like, right?
Yeah. It's like a big distribution in the whole beer industry is like a big, crazy like washing machine. It's that level of brewing, like that extra layer of sending beer out, because like essentially your margins are like here in a tap room in a brew house or a brew pub like we are, they're pretty high. But when you start distributing, they go down to like very, very low, like very low. You're basically getting like a little over cost compared to what you would sell a beer in a bar for, right? And then you have to worry about like what the distributor is doing with your beer. Is it sitting out warm? Is it sitting out cool? Is it sitting on a truck too long? All of these things affect the final product. And I've seen a lot of breweries get like really bad reviews because they were just hooked up with a bad distributor, and like all the beers on the market are getting like skunked or whatever, and they're getting kind of trash talk through it. And then like people are like, oh, but the beer in the tap room is always great. But they'll like at that point, at that level, like it's not an easy problem to fix, So we like to have like control over our beer, and kind of both of our minds, like if Lost Spring grows, we would rather grow our location and our like in-house ability, and like add on some more taps, add in some bigger tanks, but keep it like all in-house.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I have to respect that.
Yeah. I mean, like there's markets in the US where you can self-distribute beer. I was up in Asheville working for a brewery up there for a while, and you can self-distribute up to 1,000 barrels of beer a year. So like I could fill a keg off my tank, put it in our refrigerated truck, drive it to a bar, drop it off, and then hand me a check, and like we're all good. That's not allowed here in Mississippi yet. It might change. Hopefully it does, because if that happens, then I would gladly distribute beer.
Scott, where you at on that?
But
Yeah, we have a place in Jackson. Where
I
you
may
at,
have
Scott?
met you a little too late. Hey, man, there's nothing a deal can't work out.
What's your thoughts on that, though?
I don't know. I mean, the whole attitude toward alcohol at the capital has really changed.
Oh yeah,
It's
immensely.
yeah, when they went and they did away with prohibition.
Yeah.
All of a sudden everything's legal.
Yeah.
You have to opt out now. Sit opt in.
Yeah.
Just reverse the whole.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
It's different.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't blame, I mean, like, all of these, especially in the South, all of these laws were set so long ago. Like you're saying, they're like prohibition level laws. So it's just like there's really no reason for the state to do it unless we have like a booming craft industry that's like lobbying for it and wanting to advance it. But at this point, we're kind of at the level where that's never going to happen unless they change something. Because so many people are like, well, I don't want to really mess with that because it's like a self-limiting factor, you know?
Our Kenny should have a lot to do with
Oh, yeah.
some of the early advances.
Yeah.
Y'all got.
Oh yeah, man. I appreciate the hell out of all the brewers who started here early on. I worked at Crooked Letter. That was my first job. Like I said, I was like 19 years old. And obviously they had done a little bit of work with it. And the couple who owned Lazy Magnolia, I mean, they did a ton of work to lobby for what we do now, you know. I remember back in those days, I would say like I had moved out to Colorado shortly after that, and I was like, I won't go home until they change some of the laws. And mainly that was when you couldn't have a tap room, right? You had to do tours for a sample, and
that Chandler used to do that too, right?
yeah.
You
All
have
the
to
brewers
go.
had to. That was the only way to sell in house.
What you were talking about, the manufacturer and distributor
Mhm.
on the barrel
Yeah.
and sell it, that violates that rule that they have.
Yeah, no, exactly, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it might. I mean, you never know. It might change one day. I think Louisiana, if I'm not wrong, in like the last year, just started allowing self distribution up to a certain amount. And a lot of the craft beer laws around here have kind of like followed Louisiana's laxation on the laws. But you never know what the extent of that will be. You know, I'm not counting on it, but it would be a nice little bump. Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I know that. Trust me. But we're good friends with all the guys from the distributors too. You know, all the guys from FEB and Mitchell have always treated me super well and been super welcoming to us in the neighborhood.
Whatever
And-
happened there? Like, would you ever, like, I mean, y'all are both like, just now we're just going to expand our small like area because y'all do have an atmosphere too.
Yeah.
You have
Oh, yeah.
Great. Even y'all's mixed drinks. Like,
Yeah.
you made that margarita for me. I'm like, no way, dude. This shit's fire.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah,
y'all
man.
created like a certain brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we want that brand to be like more about having like an in-house place of communion than having like our beer in a grocery store in Gulf Shores, you know. While that would be great, like there's something about grabbing a can of your own beer from the store. But it's just not really what concerns me as much as having an environment where people like are enjoying themselves and they're coming in and enjoying their drinks and meeting good people. Like the amount of people we've both seen meet through the bar who like, there's a couple regulars that are probably listening now. They'll know who they are. One is a much younger man. One is a retired tennis coach in Ocean Springs, and they've formed like the tightest friendship just through meeting up at the bar a couple times a week and having a beer. And it's like cool to watch that, you know. That's where we like to be in the industry.
It's fucking dope.
Mhm.
It's not about profit. It's about community.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you can make some profit along the way, that's great.
It's kind of
But,
like the podcast. Cheers, motherfucker. Cheers, y'all. Like,
cheers. Cheers.
and I just, like I was telling like them, was like, you know, with the podcast, I want to add Scott to it
Mhm.
because I learned a lot from him.
Yeah, he's
Oh, yeah,
he
man.
knows I mean, you can tell that he's a wise man. Like he already has gone through a lot. He had
Yeah.
seen a lot. So
Yeah.
just listening to our problems, like, right, well, maybe I could do something, but
Yeah.
still kicking, bro. Still kicking
Hey
it.
man, you're kicking.
But it's cool that y'all just was like, you know what? Let's not chase the first dollar. Let's build a community.
Yeah, I would rather have like a brand that I'm like super proud of what we did and like who we brought together than like, oh man, like I said, like we're distributing in like 5 states, and that's not even like that profitable. Like I was saying, like you can grow a brewery really, really big and make an astoundingly low amount of money because it gets so stretched out with like where your distribution costs are killing you, and where your like different markets are, you know. It just becomes a much more overcomplicated game than like what I believe in beer for.
And it becomes like, so if you do get low cost, you get more marketing.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the catch. You get more marketing, but y'all are just like, screw it.
Yeah.
Just
Huge capital. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a much bigger brewery. You have to have a really big sales team. You have to have all these people. And like I said, in the end of the day, a lot of that, even if you're a really good brewer, like I said, you could go through the wrong distribution company and bite you in the ass. Not like that's happening here, but there was an example of that over in New Orleans recently, where a distributor withheld a lot of money from a lot of different breweries. And
can we
a
drop
lot
the
of
name
them,
or no?
I'm not
You're
gonna.
not going to?
I don't like to name names.
Okay.
But
I respect that.
yeah, I mean, like if you look it up, it's pretty easy to find. But it was a really crazy. I mean, like
After the show, you'll tell us.
yeah, I'm talking like hundreds
Exclusive.
of thousands of dollars in like unpaid bills to breweries, and like then just went out of business. You know, and it's like I would hate to put more into something that I've already given my whole life to, just to let somebody else like ruin it like that. You know, like I said, we're all about kind of having control over the beer and experience, product, and you lose a lot of that.
you've got the key element of what you're doing, and that is enjoy what you do.
Oh yeah, man.
Once you got that,
Yeah.
the rest of it just flows.
Oh yeah, it does. I tell you what, it's not one of those jobs. I mean, like they always say, do what you love, and you'll never work a day. I harshly disagree with that because we worked a lot of really hard days. But it's all worth it in the end. You know, it's like we get home or we get done with our day and have a beer up the brewery and talk about the shit show that it was, and then go home and forget about it and come back the next day.
But you're making beer.
Yeah.
Like that's cool.
Oh yeah.
That's what we were talking, and I was like, "Hey, come on the podcast." It was the fact that y'all making beer.
Yeah.
And then when I found out you're the assistant brewer,
Yeah.
I'm like, "Holy shit!"
It's the only person that's ever touched
Well, Mosaic's
Lost
been
Spring beer before me.
Let's give a shout out to your cousin. He created Mosaic's.
He was the same community, bro.
Yeah.
He was always, trying to help out as much as he could.
Yeah.
I know someone that
people
can
a
do
place to
something
be.
for you, and then you make a relationship.
He created that whole entire atmosphere.
Yeah.
Right there in that location, he seeks expand. He's no longer with
Mhm.
us,
Yeah.
but that's pretty amazing.
It's cool, man. Arturo was a beast. That place opened when I was like living down in Ocean Springs when I was like in high school still, you know? I'd go hang out at Mosaic and just like chill. I was like, I can't drink, I can't smoke hookah, but I just want to be here.
I used to
'cause I'm
do
allowed
hookah all
to
the time.
be.
They used to have the belly dancers.
Oh yeah.
that was a thing.
Dude, he was a businessman. I tell you what, like that dude trapped on the business side, serial entrepreneur.
But it created
Always
a
cool to
brand.
meet somebody like that.
He created
Yeah.
a brand, though. He created an atmosphere, and so y'all went from like, because it's always gonna be Mosaics the way I would sit in the front, do hookah, belly dance,
Yeah.
and then see the beer house, and then see y'all expand it to
Yeah.
the back.
Yeah.
Like that's just
And I think that the new owner, Kenny, he has the same idea of creating like unique spaces. Because if you go to any bar that you go in downtown that he owns or he opens, it's different. It's like each has a little cuteness to it, but and overall, like
uniqueness.
yeah. overall, like kind of like has the same atmosphere. Like different, classy.
what year did Mosaics open?
2007.
Yeah, it was like
Was it
2007.
before the office or after the office? They're close.
I don't know. Yeah.
Dude, I was so young at that point.
Yeah, but I mean, I was down.
I
There.
had
I
no
was
clue what
raging.
bars
I was
were.
raging a long time ago with that place. Like, I think
know,
it was
I'm
like,
talking like 2007. I was like 10 years old.
oh, really?
Yeah. I was not worried about bars.
2007. I was 19, 20. Yeah, I was down there.
Yeah.
I was,
Yeah, you were down there for sure.
yeah.
As soon as I was like 16, I was down there. But
Now, I just like that when y'all had the. I'm telling you, when I went Page in Cade, and that Sunday, because you had the neon moon. Is neon moon still kicking, right?
yeah, they're
But
kicking. They're
that-
only Friday and Saturday though. So
But it's been always like a club.
yeah.
In the back though, and I remember walking Page like, all right, we just got off work. I closed down on a Sunday with him because I sometimes work cash register at District Coffee.
Hell yeah, man.
It's
Friends helping friends.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's like at whole milk,
Yeah.
almond milk. I'm learning. I'm like, I just do it. I'm just do it.
Yeah.
Give me a high noon. Give me a high noon thing.
They're all too old to learn stuff.
But we go, and I'm like, I remember the first time I'm like, well, this is a special place. And I get there, and there's a single band playing. There's this one man just jamming
Yep.
out, and there's every business owner of all the businesses down.
Hell
Ocean
yeah.
Springs. having a good time, hanging out, and they're all drinking y'all's beer.
Hell
That's gotta
yeah.
be something
It is
special.
Oh yeah. No, man, they've it's been awesome, like opening in downtown. I'm from here enough, but like most of the people that I know now don't know what used to be, or like the other way around. Like I didn't know any of the people. Like I didn't know Lauren Toronto from EDL, and I didn't know like Will from Lady May and Kenny from Mosaic. Like I didn't know any of these people. And coming into a town and just like I moved back in 2020 and I started a brewery in 2021. And I was like the new kid on the block. I was like, I'm kind of scared that I'm just gonna get shit on and like shit talked around town, but like that never happened. Everyone was super welcoming, and like within the first few months, people are like, "Oh man, I was getting a coffee down the street at Bright Eyed, and they told me to come here." Or, like I was at the district, and they said there's a cool little brewery to go check out. So it's been cool to like see everyone take on to it.
Well, I think the biggest thing is if you do something that makes you uncomfortable, you're winning. It's got to be. You got to dig in your comfort. Like you got to get up. If it makes you uncomfortable, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Y'all making like a movement though.
Yeah.
I mean, because socializing a beer is a social thing that Stop scrolling photos of mom. What are you scrolling for? What are you looking for? Oh, he's trying to show something. Okay, I'm down with this. But I will say is when I seen that though, it was like an iconic moment for me. It was like, oh, these motherfuckers are y'all really going? Like, y'all are. What made like so? You've always been like a GM of Mosaics. You've always been a bartender.
Yeah, I mean,
you've always ran half the shit like with your cousin. Like y'all,
I learned a lot. I learned a lot from him.
You did everything though. Like I mean, I've seen you. I've seen you times and when I had to use the restroom when y'all first started Mosaics, you were there. To the bar, to my food, you bring it out to me. Like you've worked every position of Mosaics.
Yeah, me and Tony are like the oldest employees in the whole Mosaic.
Yeah, but so for you though, when you and Nolan had that relationship, what was that like when y'all were like, "Hey, let's make it let's work together"?
We were bartending right in what's it called?
Yeah, I was running the Wilbur when we met. Do y'all know what the Wilbur is? A little cocktail bar under the Roost Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was running that place for like a year right when I moved down here because it was like middle of COVID. And that's where I met Daniel, and then like we just started talking about beer, and I was like,
Hunter's the one that like.
I got the brook some beer. You brew beer. He likes beer. Yeah, but we started talking about it like later on, and I was like, well, if you ever wanted to learn how to brew, like we can go brew at my house like right now. Like I always have grain and hops and yeast, and like I said, I had this brewery set up with like 3-stage temp control and like a beer like a kegerator and all this stuff in my house. So I was like, just try it out.
It was a trap. It's hot as balls in there.
Yeah, it was horrible. Shed, I had this like little like Home Depot shed that I built this brewery in, and it was like full on, like I said, like 30-gallon batches. So you're like boiling in a little shed. It's getting like hot as shit, but it was funny. And we both had other jobs at the time, so like from that point on, we were both like, oh, we're just gonna work like day in day out. We get off our job and brew. And I was brewing at Chandelier for a while and doing the same thing. Like I'd go brew over at Chandelier and then like can beer all day and like get off of work and go home and brew until like midnight 1 a.m. and then wake up and go back to a brewery the next day.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really awesome.
Those are fun times.
How big was it? Was it like a 10 by 10, 12 by 12?
Probably like an 8 by 12.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man! I just kept it all on hand. I was like, anytime I want to brew, I may have been running a little bit of beer like through the back door, but it wasn't enough for anyone to say anything.
It was the same with like, so me and you, like Scott.
Yeah.
I was, when I first got, so I was doing the director of Blowfly. I didn't know anything about craft beer. But I knew that when I got hired to do, so first it was like marketing and then I became director.
Mm-hmm.
But the Blowfly, what was that, say 7-8 years ago? So I was just like, okay, well, I had this thing in my mind. I was like, you know what? If we're gonna like serve beer, if you ask for a Bud Light, let me give you a local beer.
Mm-hmm.
So then I would give you a Chandelier.
Yeah.
As like a little dentist cup. This is from Gulfport. Have this.
Yeah.
Freemason. And then I remember driving over to Hops and Growers. Well, this is not when Scott sold beer.
Yeah, just when you have the
on
little,
Cook
like,
Road.
homebrew shop.
Yeah, on X50.
Oh, yeah.
And I just go there and talk about beer, and then he started educating me.
Yeah.
And then he would share his brews with me allegedly,
Yeah.
and then I would just learn like this is a serious art form.
Yeah.
Like this is like you can like if you get into a level like it's a quality, it's like a bourbon. It's like
Oh, yeah.
I mean it's a
just,
Blanton's
like,
or
different.
are you
medium.
going straight to like a C? It was a CC. Was it what a Canadian Miss? I'm gonna put there. Like, but that's like beer's that way too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100%. It's crazy and it's cool. Like we live in a place that's like not. They're still pretty new to the craft beer scene. You know, brewing was legalized like in Mississippi for the first time. What, in 2004, 2005? It was a while ago, right? Yeah, to be brewing beer. Like when did Lazy Magnolia open? Like 2004 or 5, I think. Yeah, but that was the year it became legal to do in Mississippi, right? And like you look around the country and it's like people have been having craft breweries in San Diego since like early on, you know, and like these breweries that opened in the 70s and 80s, and Abita is one of them. It's like just been around for a long time, right? But like here, you have to like educate people about beer a lot more, or you don't have to, but you kind of get to, because people are like, oh, I like craft beer. I had a beer that I liked, but I don't know what it was, or I don't know what was in it that I liked about it. So you got to kind of talk them through it and be like, oh, well, if you like that, then like you should try this, and you know, maybe try a sour if you like lighter beers that are like fruitier, you know, stuff like that. So it's been a cool thing to like watch in the tap room, especially just like people come in who are like, yeah, you know, I had like an IPA. It was like the first IPA I liked, and this is what I liked about it. It's like, oh, well, you know, try this.
Do y'all do growlers?
Hell yeah, that's a growler.
No, but y'all sell growlers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
we sell growlers.
So Jason from Altered Reality Brewing, they came on the podcast. They took it. We're gonna fill it up with beer. We go get it from them. They have opened theirs on Howard Avenue.
Yeah, there's some good guys over there.
He bought me a Growler Works, like the fancy one with nitrous.
Oh hell yeah!
It's not. I mean, it's a good gift, but I'm saying like
yeah, no, those things.
They came on the podcast and like they're Altered Reality Brewing and small.
Yeah. They're just like about our size.
Yeah, but no, they took it and we just go get it from them. Fill it up with beer. They've been.
Hell yeah.
Well, it was for them. I was saying, hey, look, this is before they opened.
Yeah.
I was like, just take that and, you know, sample it because it's a better to kind of express your beers.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have some cans. Do y'all have any cans? Y'all brought cans for us, or
we don't can beer actually.
You don't have any kind of cans?
Don't can anything? No.
Oh,
you can keep that growler though.
It's got your name on it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a treasure right there.
Yeah.
I have a but that's cool though. Like
yeah.
I think that was fascinating though, Scott. Why is it so like such a art form to have a local beer versus like a Budweiser or a Miller? Because like I feel like they just own the market.
Dude, honestly though, I know that I probably won't get much flack for this in like the brewers industry, but those guys, it's just as much of an art. Like those guys have just focused on a much different side of it than like craft beer. The craft beer is all about innovation and doing new things and trying new things. But like those guys have learned how to make a beer the exact same a billion times a year. Like, do you know how hard that is to make a billion cans of beer taste the exact same? It's hard.
I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, no, not many people do. But that's why, like, you know, big beer has stayed as prevalent as it has through like the craft beer blow up. Is like, in the end of the day, there's like a lot of people, and even brewers, like we drink High Life. I know a lot of brewers that drink High Life when they're off and not, you know. So we drink a lot of craft beer too, but every once in a while you're like, I just want the same thing that I had last night. Pop open a High Life.
What's your favorite domestic beer?
Banquet. At the Colorado Water, baby.
Yeah.
At Colorado Water, baby.
Coors Banquet.
Beautiful beer.
Okay. What's yours?
I love Modelo. Oh yeah, Modelo Negro.
Woo. He's serious about
Man,
that.
talking my language. I love a good PBR too, man. I still go to the
PBR with a lime.
It's a grocery draft.
I swear to God, that's the best PBR in the country. That's true. There it is.
See what sucks. You can go from there.
So I would say for me, it's Bush.
Okay.
Bush Light.
Bush Light. I've honest to God never had a Bush Latte.
So I love it.
Never in my life. I don't
like,
know what it is. I've just never even
I
looked
like
at that.
so
Like,
because I started in college. College was like Keystone.
yeah.
But like Bush, I would say Bush is right there for me. And then it's got to be a Budweiser.
Yeah. Nothing wrong.
Bud heavy.
No,
Nothing wrong with the king, baby. Nothing wrong with the
I
king.
don't know what it is about the Budweiser. It's just a damn Budweiser. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Like
so,
I said, they've been doing it a long, long time. Yeah.
what's all market too is like I think Bush is like 90 calories, and then I think Ultra is 95 calories. Like
Those
Bush is
for
always
beer.
I
five
would
cal-
not, I'm not the person to ask.
I know, but I'm saying, but it's always the trick of marketing that's fascinating.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't count calories.
No.
No.
Hell no.
But
Full
That
calories,
beer's
baby.
got like 400 calories a pint.
so for me, there's some marketing behind everything. It's the way you market things.
Yeah.
So like the Ultra is like the skinny beer,
Oh, yeah.
but it's like actually a little more calories than a lot of beers.
Yeah.
That's the way they market it though.
Oh, yeah.
You could go play tennis, have an Ultra.
Yeah. I always crack up about like the whole calorie thing in alcohol because like alcohol as like a nutrient already has calories in it. So like if you're drinking low cal alcohol, usually you're just drinking like lower alcohol. I swear. Look it up. Calorie. Yeah. Like that shit's already not good for you.
Dude, what about the zero sugar shit at y'all's house? What's going on with that?
But that
Yeah, we used to have regular Coke and 12 packs at y'all's house.
still do.
No,
You dismissed it. You couldn't find it back there.
I was in the refrigerator. I literally was.
It was on the counter next to the refrigerator. It's not in the refrigerator. Cokes, bars, full service.
I was pretty sad about it. So like, my parents have a shed where they have like
Pops.
What is that?
which one's
Say
that?
on. This is from ecology. This is
I love the fact y'all brought other
called?
beers.
Together at last. Yeah.
Dude, I have some
look,
highlights
bro.
in my cooler, bro.
He does have high lives.
Drink some. Yeah, let's get in here.
I'm drinking weird beers.
It's fine. I'll get in with you.
All right.
But we're talking about like, so my mom has a little shed. Mom has a little shed, and she had now is she used to have like regular like products like regular Cokes, regular
Yeah.
beers, and then it's like all zero sugar.
Oh, it's worse for you, isn't it?
I don't fucking know.
Man, I don't either.
I really don't. I just don't like the taste of it.
I have a theory that I'm gonna die when I'm gonna die. So anything in between, I might as well enjoy.
Is that it?
Like, why drink a zero sugar Dr. Pepper when like
Sugar, bro.
at some point I'm gonna die? So like, is it
Well,
gonna help me switching?
What
I
was
don't drink
mom saying?
sodas a lot though,
What
so
was mom saying?
maybe it's different.
Like the switch of the drinks. So like, why did she start going to this like healthy sugar diet shit?
I think I should snort this.
It looks like it.
You ever snorted a little beer foam?
No.
Like off the top of your beer? Try it sometime.
Really?
It'll change your life.
Hell no.
Yeah, if a little beer foams up out of your can,
Yeah.
just snort it. I know, yeah. You did you open that one?
Yeah.
Okay. These are both like I said, they're kind of weird beers, but
What company's this?
I love them. This is what we're drinking is Ecology. They just opened up in New Orleans. Great brewery. Our friend Matt Horney is the owner and brewmaster. He makes some really incredible beers. I was like mentored by a lot of Belgian guys. Like all of my mentors were like older Belgian brewers. And Belgian saisons are like a very big thing in Belgium. Like what they're not drinking if they're not drinking Trappist or like lambics like Cantillon and stuff like that. They're kind of like a table beer in Belgium. Like if you're just like eating dinner, you're gonna have a saison with it. So I've always appreciated the style. Both of these are saisons, just done different ways.
So are the,
Do they drink more beers than they do wines?
Yeah, in a lot of parts of Belgium. Yeah, and the brewing tradition in Belgium has been going on for like centuries. They're like one of the oldest brewing cultures that's still
this is really good.
around. Yeah, like the monks and even just like in the countryside. What we're
This
drinking is this
this is
ecology.
different.
So this is a saison made with honey from Parlo. It's down in the Bywater. Beautiful little brewery. Really, really interesting beers. That's the same beer that this one is. Yeah, we just opened this other one. Yeah, yeah, they make really good beer over there. It's a cool little project, just about like 2-3 times our size, and they just stick to a very tight tap lineup, and they do what they do really well. They're like one of the only breweries that does kind of that style of like a lot of saisons and a lot of mixed culture stuff. So they're putting different bacteria and different
Are
wild
they a
yeast in
small
the
batch
beers.
like y'all though? Like when y'all do,
They
like,
do like a
they
little
can
bit bigger. I
be.
think they're like 7 barrels. They could be 10. Yeah, they're canning, but they don't sell these cans outside of their tap room. So it's just you go into the tap room and they have what they have on tap in a cooler in cans, and then that's it. But you can't go find cans of theirs like throughout New Orleans, as far as I know.
So it's kind of special for us.
I hope so.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I like picking up beers like that. Like I said, when you get into like the grocery store beers, it's like there's a lot of companies fighting for like a few spots, and there's like you can get one beer that's really good and one beer that's really bad, and they both looked good, and you can't tell much. But when you go to a tap room and you can find a beer that's like they only brewed this beer once and you liked it, I'm gonna buy as much as I can.
Well, so one of the beers that I really enjoy is Crowd Control.
Oh yeah,
Sopro.
love Crowd Control.
It's always been pretty consistent.
Yeah, they're really good IPA breweries up there.
Yeah, but that's me and Emily 7-8 years ago, like we used to go up there. She used to live in Heinsberg. I love that. I love how they're pretty consistent with Crowd Control.
Oh yeah, they're consistent with a lot of things. They're a really good brewery. It's funny. I've met like basically everyone in Mississippi who brews except for any of the guys from Sopro. But I've always liked their beer.
I think it's a lot like y'all, where y'all just very like, hey, we don't, y'all don't really. Maybe y'all can one day, because you can't say never. You can't say never. But the idea y'all met and start brewing in a 8x12 shed, working y'all's. So how many y'all on tap at y'all's spot? Was it 4 or 5?
We have 8 on tap.
8?
Yeah, and they change. So we have 4 that stay on tap year round, and then we have 4 that just change out based on what the season is. So if it's really hot outside, we'll have some sours on, maybe a seltzer, some lighter beers. And then as we work in the fall, we'll go like darker, some ambers, some stouts, some fun stuff like that.
But they're all your own beer.
Yes. Like I said, we've brewed probably like 200 at this point, like unique beers, unique recipes. So
Do y'all go after like sales, or do y'all just go after what y'all like when it comes to like putting it on the tap?
honestly, it's like it's a fun game, especially with only like 8 taps, because you kind of play both sides. Like you have beers that you need to make because they're going to sell well, and they're going to like pull people in. But then sometimes, like I said, I really love saisons. And saisons aren't like a really popular style, especially down here, because a lot of people just don't know what they are. So like we'll make a saison every once in a while just to hold tap, so we can like work on some other stuff. You get to kind of play around with it like that. Like we'll drink a lot of the like I'll drink this saison every day. It's on tap. It's like just my favorite style. But and the like real beer nerds who are like, oh, I really love saisons, will come in and be like, man, I'm so glad y'all had a saison on. I thought with 8 taps you'd only have like hazy IPAs and stouts or whatever. But you get to kind of play with it, like I said, throughout the year. And like if we get a bunch of fruit in, like people will call me all the time and be like, hey man, I got like 45 pounds of satsumas. You got to use for them? And it's like, yeah, we can make something work. And so then you change up your whole plan for the next 2 weeks to make that beer and go on to the next one.
Let's see. We got some stuff right here. We got a couple people right here. Let's go into here. All right. So Neil 3006 says, what up, Nolan? Brian Cornwell says, Nolan. Joe.
Hey, Brian. I miss you.
Joe playing with his guitar says, Nolan. Let's see. Nicholas says, that was a super classy thing to say. What are you talking about, Nicholas? Nicholas does granite.
I hope that wasn't sarcastic. I don't.
I mean, we're just.
Have I been saying unclassy?
We just haven't. I mean, we've been into the whole beer situation.
Yeah, dude, that's my problem. Is I could talk beer. Like my fiance gets so mad because like sometimes like like I said, all the breweries on the coast are really supportive of each other. So we'll all go visit each other's spots and stuff. And there's been like multiple times where Dave from Fly Llamas walked in at like 11 o'clock. And my fiance is like, we got to go soon. And then next thing you know, it'll just be me and Dave like locked in conversation about beer. We're not leaving that lock for a minute. Like one of our wives is going to have to drag us out of that, that talk.
I think that's like the passion behind it, what y'all do though. And Daniel, do you love making beer?
Love it.
You better.
Yeah, it's a challenge. We're talking about it is something for sure. You have to be really consistent and always be aware of anything, because anything can happen. You know, like pay attention to the pressure, to the sounds, like little things that you need to be aware of whenever you're like working. Especially whenever we brew, we split the day. So we go there, we machine, and then he stays, and I'll go fuck around and come back, and then I finish the putting the beer in the tank, and I clean, and that's whenever you have to like, okay, I did this in 2 hours and a half that the other day. I had to make less than that, and you start like thinking your
How can
process
I do
of
it more
thought,
efficiently? Like what can
your
I do
process of
different?
thought, like how you do things. Like if I do this instead of this, and then this, what if I do, and you start playing with that.
Yeah.
And that's when oh shit, like I did what I used to do in 2 hours and a half. I did it like in 2:15. I'm gonna make it in 2, you know, in the same results.
So you're a machine. So
Yeah.
I'm trying, dude. Like,
you're a
yeah,
machine.
No. One of the coolest things about brewing like we do on such a small system is that none of it is automated. Like a lot of breweries are what you'll hear called like push button breweries, where it's like you kind of like sit there and push buttons, but you don't actually like do any work throughout the day. Like maybe you like take some samples and you like, you know, mix in a little mash here or whatever, throw the hops in manually. But like there's breweries that literally just operate by like boom, and beer comes out the other end. But the way we do it is like so manual, so hands-on. Like we don't have a timer on our system. Like we just have to sit there and like set all the timers manually on our phones. And you know, like he's saying, like you'll be going through a process and you're like, you do it so many times and you do it day after day after day, and then you realize, oh, like if I did this here and this here, then I can take out 15 minutes because I'm knocking out two things at once. But like a lot of my days up there are like I'll be brewing, carbonating beer, kegging beer, cleaning lines all at the same time. And it's like I've got this timer going for the brew house, and I've got a loose idea of how fast the keg is going to fill, so I know when to go check on that. And I've got this going as like an immediate, like I'm cleaning lines as like a boom, boom, like I'm right here doing it, but then I can hop back here and check on that, hop over there. So you kind of like the workflow of it's really interesting because you can kind of just like see it all so like physically in front of you. But like a lot of jobs are just kind of like you'll do like one part of a job, right? When we're doing the whole thing, you just get to work through it every day and figure out how to make the perfect like SOP, like a standard operating procedure, because you get to say, oh, well, that didn't work. Like, let me do it this way next time. And that didn't work. So it's just always perfecting this process.
So y'all are making actual craft beer.
Yeah, I hope so.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
You're pretty much, it's not automated. So
there is no automation. I wish there was.
so
But
y'all are really just making fucking
yeah,
no,
beer.
bro. We sweat. You know, you have to sweat. You already
Yeah.
know. You already know, all right?
any brewer
Yeah.
knows that though. I mean, like
I'm gonna sweat.
the best beer comes from like just hard work, and there's no way around that, you know.
So what's
That's it.
what's the time to make a batch?
It floats. Like we can push a beer out. It depends on the style a lot, but like say like our Hefeweizen, it's like one of the fastest beers we can get from like mashing in first morning to like in your cup, in your glass. We can do that in about 16 days, 17 days. A lot of our beers though are taking 4 or 5 weeks. We've done like a few lagers here and there that take a month or two.
You have limited tanks.
Yeah, we only have 6 tanks, so it's like a big pattern or a big puzzle trying to plan it all out of like
And
this tank's
do they sell
taking
out?
this week. Oh yeah, we just constantly sell like so our production like just physically is probably restrained to about like 3.25 barrels a week. Like if we're really brewing like full time, like we could max out at that. but we sell about 3 barrels a week consistently. So we're just like, you know, you leave Friday and you're like, all right, we're pretty good. There's a good stock in the walk-in, and then you walk in Monday and there's a bunch of empty kegs out, and you're like, all right.
So when you come in, I want to sample your product. I better be there when you get
Yeah, if you want to cut.
Let's do it.
Oh yeah, if you want to come get like new beers that are dropping, or like you want a specific beer, like some of them we've had sell out in like 1 weekend, 2 weekends, and like we'll hype up the release and everything, and people will be like, hell yeah, I want to go try it, and then they'll get there and they're like, what happened? It's like, it's gone, man. Like, you know, so we're at 2 barrels, like I said. A half barrel or a full barrel of beer is around 240 pints, right? So 240 beers out the door. We have double that, so like 480, almost 5, just round up to 500 pints, because we usually have a little bit of extra that we keg. So you got 500 pints, but like if we put on like a really highly weighted beer, it's pretty easy to sell like 200 pints a night on the weekends, and just like of that one beer, and then just be like, well, shit, there that one went.
So it's all weekend base.
No, we do like a lot of sales throughout the week. We're open 7
Well,
days
no,
a
but
week.
burn out the best stuff.
Oh yeah, like a lot,
Yeah.
because we usually do big beer releases like that on like a Friday, and we'll have, you know, a party or whatever, and like say, oh, we're releasing this beer tonight, like y'all enjoy, and then like come in a week later and you're like, shit, it's all gone.
So for you and Daniel, though, it's kind of like expanding out, like add a couple more tanks. For y'all, it's expanding out, add more tanks to brew.
Yeah. I mean, if we could expand it like tomorrow, we're like, I mean, you've seen the space. We're like very
It's time. Have you been there?
physically limited.
I'll bring you and Mom. There's like literally outside. There's probably what?
It's like 30 seats outside, and then like we have 9 bar stools inside. But our whole brewing cellar, like where all of the beer is made, is 125 square feet.
So my parents will be
it's
there
like
because they have a place.
A little bit bigger than the size of this room. Not much. Hold grains and tanks and all of our liquor.
But my parents have a place on Porter.
Oh hell yeah, I love Porter Avenue.
So y'all should definitely.
Okay, yeah, nice. My parents have a place like right back on Rayburn and Cox, so we're like right there. And like I said, I used to run the Wilbur, so I was like right there, right around the corner. Yeah.
But did you see the situation like when y'all first started though? How that worked though? Like from where y'all are, when y'all's first like 6 months, did y'all sell out? How'd y'all bring traffic?
Oh man, it's been a wild time since then. It's like hard to remember those days. We did pretty good off the bat. I mean, we didn't have like any months where we were like bleeding money and we were just like, oh, this ain't gonna work. But it was definitely like a slow start. We opened Peter Anderson weekend, and like within like 3 days we sold out of all of the beer that we had made. And then it took an extra month to start replacing beers, you know. So then we like slowly worked our way from literally 1 beer on tap to 8 on tap. And that was like the first 6 months was just trying to get to 8 beers on tap. Like that was the goal when we opened, was like, let's have 8 on tap. But it was like every time we put out a beer, it would sell out. You know, like I said, you go in and have 4 on tap, and then you come in Monday and you'd have 2 on tap. It's like, shit, okay, I can make 2 more this week and get to the next week and do the same thing. It was very much treadmill-ish for a minute. We were brewing like the most beer we've ever brewed. But we like slowly, I mean, it's been a cool business to watch because it just grows like year after year and month after month, you know. Like we didn't have to wait that long to start seeing like a return on it. And then like, oh, now we're like really busy. And then it was like, oh, now we're like kind of scary busy. Like, how are we going to keep up? And
Daniel, what'd you do to put your neck on the line for this? I know you did something because like in the connection of the mosaics.
Oh well, like he said, he was working the Wilbur, and then Kenny met him, and he had the idea of starting a brewery, and then Kenny had the money, and then he like.
You got in there too?
Yeah, no, like they asked me, hey, do you want to like get some equity? Whenever after this, because like I told you, we have to like open that place from scratch. It was a storage room, and we were like,
oh yeah,
demolishing
that
that
whole
shit.
place. Like we built all of Lost Spring the only people we hired were like 2 electricians, like the whole time, and somebody to do the wallpaper in the bathrooms. But other than that, like we built the bar, we built the like our
drain.
walk-in refrigerator, we poured all the concrete around our drains, we built the whole cellar. Like, I mean,
Shit.
obviously we bought all the tanks, those aren't handmade. I don't know how to do steel work, but we built the whole cellar out and made it all work, ran all the glycol lines. Like we didn't pay anyone to do shit. So Daniel was right there by my side the whole time. And I was like, well, if you want to like wait it out and work for us, and like we'll give you part of the business if you're like really into it still. And he still is. Look at him.
Are you a partner in this?
Mhm.
Yeah. So 2 owners sitting right here.
2 of them right here.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah, bro.
Believe in a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Support somebody.
Got to, man.
That's the
Yeah.
problem with the world.
Yeah.
Like that's really a really fucked up problem with the world. You got to support it. Like so, I did. My insurance office.
Yeah.
My business partner right here.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go in.
Oh yeah. You
Fucking
gotta have good
78.
partners,
Just
man.
got his license. We're going in.
That's cool.
But that's like a believe in your vision
Yeah.
and support it.
Oh yeah.
And you see,
Exactly.
y'all connected, and y'all are like, hey, let's just make beer in the shed. And
Yeah.
now
I
look
mean,
at y'all. Y'all are like,
I'll be completely honest right here. I didn't know if Daniel was gonna last like 2 weeks or 2 years. Because like brewing is like, it sounds like a lot of fun. Like everyone's like, oh man, I would love to brew beer. But then you sit through like your first brew day and you're like sweating your ass off, lifting 100-pound sacks of grain around. And you're like, yeah, it's I've seen a lot of people just come into the beer industry for a week and a half and quit. You're like, never look back, So I didn't know what was gonna happen.
well, I was able to know Daniel Jew Joint days. First open. Yeah.
Them days.
When he used to tell me, like, I'm running the bridge.
Oh,
Scott, he used to run
Oh,
the
yeah.
bridge fucking every day.
Psycho.
Yeah, like he went
Oh,
crazy
no.
about running.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
How long would you run when you were running?
The whole thing.
No, but you would like, but what was your times? You were in it.
Yeah, dude. I think 22, 23 minutes. Like the whole thing. But when I was fucking like 100 pounds less than this, and then I was just psycho. And like I'm have to do something. You just do that. But yeah, I mean it's fun. I mean I enjoyed it, because the
But it makes
views
sense,
and all
to
that
me, it
shit.
makes sense because the way he like when I met him, if he's got a vision, he's
Oh
getting
yeah.
it. He's getting it. Like
I'm a hard worker, baby.
yeah, if you put your mind to it, you can do it.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating for me is like y'all like to see y'all spot like that is absolutely a brewery. Like if you want to call a brewery, shout out to y'all. Like really cheers to y'all. Scott, you got cheers? Let's cheers. Because this is like a serious thing where y'all like really love what y'all do.
Yeah.
It's not about profit, it's about educating
just like
and be atmosphere.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
We just like beer, and we like people that like beer, and we like people that have a good time.
Because y'all can sell out. You can sell it anytime you want.
Yeah, probably.
That's why I don't want to sell this fucking podcast out, Scott. So we're not selling this shit. It's kind of emotional. I've had like impacts on DM stuff about people like personal stuff when I've personal guests, and I'll sit here and have a bourbon and cry, and smoke pot too. It's another thing of mine. But it was just like what I was telling you is like I don't want sponsors because I've had a few people reach out. And I'm like I don't want the control. I don't want it. I just want to like if you want to, I want to highlight y'all. This is our podcast.
Yeah.
Highlight y'all's brewery.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That
It's like that's it.
unadulterated. This is what you get.
Yeah.
We're doing it
Because
this
y'all
way.
fucking love it.
Yeah. I mean, you should, like anyone who's doing what they're doing in an entrepreneurial sense should love what they're doing. If they're just in it for the money, then it's like, I mean, you can go a long way on that, but like, in the end of the day, it's not.
So we
gonna
all
like,
should be Gary
fulfilling.
V's.
Huh?
Like, we should all be like motivational speakers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just get up and do it, bro.
Give it to me. Give me the
Sometimes
mic.
you feel-
So, but when y'all like, so in the,
Oh shit.
you can have a mic.
Would you look at that?
I think that the hardest thing though is what y'all created is making a beer, and then you're going against a crowd that says, "Well, I'll buy it." Will it be the next Bud Light, or will it be and I love the fact that also when you made me that margarita,
Yeah,
you're like, I'm making you a better margarita.
Yeah, man.
Y'all put effort in everything I'll make in that spot. And
Yeah.
Scott, you haven't been there yet. I think it's 400 square foot,
Yeah,
like sitting
tiny.
area, like
It's
inside.
like, so the whole downstairs is 12. Like I said, 125 of that is brewing space. Probably like 400 of that is storage space. So I think the bar is probably around 600 square feet. But that's like the area that you're sitting in front of the bar is probably only 400. He's not wrong.
Yeah,
It's tight, but like
but it
that's
makes
part
it
of the
special.
allure. And like one thing, so we have like all of our seating on the front is kind of designed in the same like mindset of like we could have done like a table, like a 2 top here and a 2 top here, maybe a 4 top table over here, but we were like, let's just do all communal seating, because then you have the situations where like 2 couples come up to the bar and they're sitting there like not talking, just looking at their phones, but then they like are sitting across from a couple that's doing the same thing, and they can talk to them and meet them, and like it just makes it for a much better kind of like I said, communal experience when like everyone's sitting around having a drink together versus like you've got 2 people over here who are just staring at their phones having a beer, and 2 people over there that are just like watching the TVs having a beer, and 2 people over there that are just like fucking not doing anything.
To see that, do you all see that a lot?
Not as much as like other places. I mean, like that's my like that's a pet peeve of mine, is when I walk into a bar and everyone's on their phones just staring down. It's like, man, we all, no one got into the bar industry to like make $1 billion. Like we got into it because we like having a drink with people, and we like talking, and we like having a communion with each other, you know? When you walk into a bar and the vibe's just dead and everyone's just staring down at their phones, you're like, what's wrong here? Like what happened? You know? It's something that like feels wrong.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. We might need to do that. We might need to initiate a policy. Boneless Fridays coming to Lost Spring.
Yeah, and that's why, like, honestly, the big part of starting this is like having these microphones. The closest thing you'll get to a conversation. I paid $80 for that futon.
Hell yeah.
It's really it's corduroy, but it's
I
getting
like
more in.
Yeah, it's nice.
But I'll tell you one thing is, I have to say that little it's a tiny fucking spot.
Yeah.
It is. I think y'all are the Project Lounge beer,
Kind
and
of.
that's a award to
Yeah.
my eyes.
One time we hired this girl, and she started bartending for us, and like in her first week she called the bar a dive bar. And at first I was like kind of offended, because I personally love dive bars. Like I think finding like a shitty, stinky dive bar where the best beer they have is literally Bud Heavy, and like they have a pool table in the back and everyone's smoking cigarettes inside, like that's where you'll find me at Friday at like 10 o'clock if I'm out. But like somebody called Lost Spring that, and like the more I've thought about it, I'm like, we kind of are like a dive brewery. Like we're not like, we don't like portray this image of being like perfect, like every napkin's like to a T, and every like pint glass is just like perfectly like etched in stone, and like, you know, we're just kind of like a spot that has good beer and good drinks and good people.
Well, there's no wall between it. It's like y'all are brewing while you
Yeah.
at the bar. Like you don't. I can see y'all making
Right
beer.
there.
Yeah.
We got like one really bad review one time, and this was back when I was like super young, and it kind of hurt my feelings, but it was like, it's kind of a mess in the back. And I was like, yeah, I mean, we like basically live back here, dude. Like, you know, it's like there's like piles of grain. There's like at any given point like 1,500 pounds of grain just like right in your field of view from the brewery. I'm like, if it's not perfectly stacked like a perfect square, like I don't know how to do that.
I wouldn't want them there.
Yeah.
Like I really, that review. I wouldn't
Shout
want
out to that guy, because I didn't clean it.
What's your take on this? I mean, you used to rock around with this.
You know, I had friends, one of the first like that in Jackson restaurant called Allen House.
Mm-hmm.
The people been up there, and they're forever. On Commerce Street.
Yeah.
That's where they have the Independence Day parade out of there.
Oh yeah.
And so they put in the back. Well, they didn't do it for 9 weeks.
Oh yeah.
So, okay. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I think they just didn't.
Oh yeah. It's easy, man. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's one of the cool things. Like brewing is, it's funny because it takes I mean, starting a big brewery like that takes a lot of capital, but all of your capital is tied up in stainless. There's like no like depreciation value on stainless. Like you can resell a stainless tank that you bought brand new for the same price you bought it for 10 years later if you kept good care of it, you know? So like a lot of those breweries, like you'll see, but it is a big, like I said, it's just a big expense. So like a lot of breweries back in the day would go in like super under leveraged, and they'd start $1 million brewery with like $1.2 million. And they didn't realize they didn't have enough cash to like hold over on their payments until they actually got busy and were selling beer. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're like going into that without enough just bankroll to get you through the slow periods, and like while you're building a brand and while you're like getting all your licensing, it's super easy to build a house of cards there and just watch it fall over, you know? Yeah, I've seen it happen plenty of times in brewing, but you know, that's one of the reasons that we started so small like we did, and we kind of want to like grow in houses, because it's like you can see a brewery say like, oh, we're putting, you know, like $8 million into an expansion, and we're going to build a whole nother brewery in a different state and do this. That brewery is probably going to go out of business in like 5 years. Like a lot of times that'll happen because they just get over leveraged. They think they've got it like in control because they conquered one market, and they grow and move to another market. And they kind of flop, you know?
He wants highlight.
Oh, he's grabbing his highlight.
Give me a highlight. Give me a highlight. I want to go in there too.
Hell yeah.
Thank you. Daniel's like, fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. Daniel's like, fuck y'all. Daniel, if you got to take a piss, you can piss over there too. There's a toilet.
Okay.
I mean, that's crazy. So Daniel's family like created mosaics. Well, that's what I'm fucking water now. But yeah, Daniel's family created mosaics, the original mosaics. And it's been a brand, but his cousin, you know, passed away, and he's still there, which is respect.
He's home now, bro. He's home now.
How big is y'all have expanded though? Like y'all have Evergreen too now, right?
Yeah.
And
We have
11?
Evergreen, 11, Red Apple, and Neon Winner.
So you manage all that.
Hell no, bro. I only bartend and then I brew beer because you can spread too thin, bro.
Doesn't sound like you don't have time.
Exactly. No. If I could, but I mean, what? Do you want to sleep? You don't want to eat good? Like, no. Don't. You just handle it as much as you can and do a good job, and that's it.
So you do beer house bartending.
And dude, that's the beauty of it too, because from Monday through Wednesday, I work in the brewery. You know how many people I talk to from Monday through Wednesday? 3, and one of them is Nolan, and the other one is my cat, and a random person in 3 days, because I didn't talk to no one, you know. And that's the beauty of it, because being a bartender, like being out all fucking weekend, you get like, you know, mentally exhausted to talk to people, to always have a show.
Yeah.
So when you're brewing, literally, you just have to like talk to no
That's
one
great.
but the machines.
You're right
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like
That's the thing
balance it out.
about it is the science of it, the fact that so much of it's right here. And
Oh yeah.
that's why I talked about your journals.
Mhm.
You know, because I'm sure you keep notes on
Oh yeah. We have
everything that you do.
about 6 journals of just Lost Spring brews, you know, 2 pages, 3 pages each, and it's like every note from every step. But yeah, that's like one of the most, like one of my favorite parts about it is like it's just when we brew, or when I brew like alone, like it's just like 8 hours of just being there doing one thing with like one goal that you're not going to get to see a result from that day, right? Like it's a lot of delayed gratification, because like you're working on something that you're not going to see out for 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks, you know, whatever it is. But you just sit there, and it's kind of like a internal reflection. You don't have to like hear anything. You're not looking at a screen the whole time. You're just doing work.
Just chilling.
It's fucking awesome.
Mhm.
So it's an escape. Y'all made into a business.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Profitable, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool though.
Yeah.
This shit.
I did mine brewing stuff.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
And first, Christopher Storm came through.
Oh no way.
So I named the winery Christopher Hunt
I love it.
and founded it on that day.
Nice.
You know, and
Yeah.
that I do for him. But it's whatever happens, I kind of got away from it. But you got me motivated.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
man,
bro.
get back into it.
Yeah.
Like I started homebrewing when I was 15, 16 years old, and like I would get all into that and make labels and bottle it and dry them off and put your label on and put it in the fridge, and that was like my secret stock when I was like 16 years old. It's like I had these, and they were at that point I was making wine and like hard cider, but I make some big like 8-9% ciders and stuff them away in my fridge. you know?
15?
Oh yeah. But that's like one of the it was getting obvious that I was stealing his stuff. No, actually my parents like all the time drank like domestics like all while I was growing up, and I did not have a taste for domestics, but my uncle would come into town and he'd always bring he's from Georgia, but he worked a lot in DC, so he'd always bring these like exciting craft beers and ciders and wines up or down here from DC, and he'd leave them in our fridge. And so like when I got about the age where it was okay for my parents to be like, yeah, have a beer with us at dinner, I'd go grab one of his because I didn't like the Michelob Ultra or like whatever wine they were drinking at the time. And so that's kind of what got me hooked on craft beer at such a young age, was like trying these beers from a different place, and trying things that like if you have a Michelob Ultra and then you try like a 90-minute IPA from Dogfish Head, like those are like two wildly different experiences. So that's like after that I started making beer and wine and cider in my house. And it's a cool hobby
Dogfish
because
from
you
Florida?
can go so far into it. I think Dogfish Head's up in like Massachusetts.
I think was it a chocolate one they did one time? I've had one of them.
I don't know. They're like one of the oldest craft breweries in the States.
I think I had a chocolate one. I don't get too into that. Like, I think it was a chocolate one.
Possibly. They're really good brewers. Sam Collion, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he had Dogfish Head is like so old, that they had like a reality TV show about brewing, following Sam through him starting Dogfish Head. But those were like the days that he was starting it, like early 2000s, late 90s, where like everything was a reality show,
Yeah.
Now everyone's like, I don't want to watch some guy sit over a hot tank of water all day.
Change your life. Scott, when you were 20, did you watch TV?
Not much. That's school day. The only thing we watched was Friday night. I forget what's called. It was Benchmark.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of thing that we all gathered together and watched.
Yeah. That's funny. They remade that recently?
Did they?
Yeah. I think they made it into like a movie, or remade the original, but yeah, that's funny.
But you never get those same two guys.
Oh no. No, not at all.
Daniel, what'd you do at 20?
I don't want to hear what
College. I mean, just hanging out with friends and school.
What'd you go to school for?
Marketing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where at?
Instituto Tecnológico de Estudios Superiores Monterrey, Campus Estado de México, Mexico.
I heard what he said. Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
He saved that for the
Graduated in 2010. Yeah. I was 21.
Do you miss being home?
Here and there, Of course, you miss the family, you miss, like your friends and
The
stuff.
food.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky enough to see them at least once a year, so I can come and go and hang out there for a minute and just come back home. So I miss them, yes, but if I will ever go back, fuck no, bro. No, I live in Mexico City, man. It was just a hassle. Always have to like look in your back, behind your back, to see who's following you or stuff like that.
So what's it like the living quarters though, like home wise? Especially being where it's kind of like an open world, like a Borderlands style.
What is
like I'm saying like having a home, like family home, everybody working, government's a little different. What was that like though growing up? Like
Mexico?
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I have I have a really good childhood. I have like really supportive parents. So I mean, I was always and they have money. So I was like a little city boy, you know, like.
Yeah, I was a city boy.
Okay.
But I mean, I always like to venture out, you know, like, you know, go take the subway, like take the bus home, you know, because you need to explore that, you know, like go through your city to know what parts you have to go, what parts you can, you know, and stuff like that. That's cool.
How'd your parents make their money?
They're accountants.
For what?
Accountants?
Accountants?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
That's kind of awesome. Like for like
No, bro,
government
it was
or
it was miserable, man. Because in college, I mean, I was always struggling with accounting for a reason, right? Because you grow in that and you hate it. And man, like,
Tim was like, I'm not doing math.
no, bro, like he was, and of course, if you like get like a B or a C plus, they like get mad at you, like, dude, why you ask us for help? And so like, no, because I don't want your help. You're gonna get mad at me. No, I would rather do it by myself. But yeah, I mean, I was, like I said, I was lucky enough to have a loving care family. They always sent us to good schools. They pretty much gave us what we wanted. Like we're always very supportive. So it was really nice growing in Mexico. I have a really good memories of what I've done and not so good, but
what made you come here?
Arturo, pretty much, he was the only one from the family that
Dream big,
Huh?
massively big.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like dude, he had the chance to go play for the Olympics at volleyball
Really?
or come here.
Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And then like he decided to come here and like, you know, follow his
Or no,
dream.
he was like one of the first ones to land down a bar in downtown. Like he's got to go down with Landmark as like Government Street. Because
Yeah.
before him, there was no movement.
Yeah.
Like he was very into like the downtown area.
How did Arturo find Ocean Springs?
He was
Scott's mic's
he was
off.
all over the place. He was hotels and shit.
Oh, sorry. Emily's watching.
Oh no. Oh no. Was it?
All my-
They did.
all my-
Oh shit. We gotta restart, guys. Round 2. I don't think we brought enough beer.
Yeah, okay.
Pull it out. Might have kicked it. I'll take blame.
It's all Jordan's fault.
I'll take it.
It wasn't me.
How's it sound now? Say something.
Okay. Is it working now?
Yeah, it's good.
Looks like it is.
Yeah, it's good. Love you, Scott. But like your cousin really did. I mean, I'll tell you that right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
It's like when you really get down to the nitty gritty about like downtown area, you got to give it to your cousin.
Fucking pioneer, bro. He was always like that.
And look where it is today.
A
Yeah.
massive, like it's like,
Yeah.
but like I was telling you about the belly dancers and shit. Like this is a spot. This is way before it expanded so big. It was just like,
Yeah.
it was that kind of like where you going downtown OS, and it was
Yeah.
mosaics.
Yeah, that was the spot.
Like that's what you always
I
say.
said,
Like
we
we're
all
going
get to
downtown.
be like in the spot where like what we do is just a reflection of like what we're allowed to do. Who are the first ones to be like, hey, let me brew beer in Mississippi. Let me try to start this thing. And now we get to benefit from, you know, coming on later, but after they laid down the groundwork of like, oh, now you are allowed to brew beer. And now downtown isn't just a sleepy old town. Because like I used to live downtown when I was in high school. I'd like ride through the middle of Government Street on my bike at 11 p.m. on a Friday, and like there were shit going on, you know. There's like maybe one bar still open, and even that back then was like a stretch.
Mosaics, though, is still the go-to place. When people are in
It
town,
is.
Oh, yeah.
say, okay, I'll meet you in Mosaic.
If you go
Yeah.
if you go downtown, you need to hit Mosaic and the brewery.
But so that's what made you come here.
Yeah, because I always had a good relationship with him. And then he told me that come check it out, and here I am. I came
Never
check it out. I came check it out, my boy.
Okay,
Yeah.
check it out.
You got hooked on the bridge.
Yeah, that's what it was. So that looks like I could run it. You moved here after Katrina, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Yeah, 2012.
So you never even had to run the shitty bridge.
No.
Not good.
No, it was bad bridge.
It was not running.
Yeah,
It was not
I
something you
saw,
wanted to
like,
run across.
You're right about
I
that.
saw pictures.
So looking forward to the next. What's y'all's 2-year plan?
Our 2-year plan from now. Just keep on brewing the best beer we
I
can.
know, but with your expansion, there any ideas? Just share it
Man,
now.
honestly,
your
like I'm looking for some space. If anyone knows some big commercial space, I could put some bigger tanks in. Hit me up.
call him.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't know. We'll see where the industry lands us. We're always going to keep what we have going on. Like we couldn't give up that tap room if we wanted to. It's just such a great place, and at this point, such a great memory of like being that spot where people were coming and hanging out on Sundays and not hanging out on Tuesday night bingo night. Like it'll just always be something worth keeping. But we need to find a bigger space to put some bigger tanks in and brew some more beer, and then start doing more of what you're talking about, like getting beer out to bars and maybe canning a little bit for in-house sales, stuff like that. Going to come out with about 50 new beers next year. Daniel's going to come out with his first all Daniel recipe in the next 6 months.
What you got in mind?
I have some ideas. I was talking about them.
Let's go to it.
Yeah, but I'm just remembering like the flavors that I like on beers that I tried before, and now that I know a little bit more of like the science and the grains and the hops and all that, like all right, well, so I don't want to ask like dumbass questions anymore. I had to be more educated, like make some self research and be like, all right, what do you think about this?
So what are you gonna add? What's your
I was talking him that I have a really good it was a lemon chamomile, it was like a blonde ale or something, but the flavor of the chamomile was so subtle and so good. It was so refreshing. It was like drinking tea, but it was beer. So something like that. I want to like go some like start with something subtle like that, then like triple mega IPA or something.
Not a sour though.
No.
Said lemon.
and
Yeah.
it sounds like a in between of a seltzer that I don't want to hear. I hate seltzers.
No. This you just can't learn to brew beer to like learn brew
I
seltzer.
don't want a seltzer.
No, I won't be a seltzer.
Hey man, they have everything has its time and place.
I know. I just don't like seltzers.
I feel you.
I just don't. I mean, they're not bad. I just don't. I mean, they're okay. I just.
Fly Llama has really good seltzers. Like they have, they
apple
use the
pie.
ingredients.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said,
Good.
there's a time and place. It's not always what we want to drink, but like every once in a while, I can't imagine it's a bad thing. And like obviously they've done well sales wise across the whole nation, the whole market. Like watching. I remember I dated this girl in college, and she told me, "Hey, you're a brewer. Watch out for hard seltzers." And I had never heard of one. I mean, I'm coming from South Mississippi. This girl's from like New Hampshire. And she's like, "Oh, there's this really big brand up where I'm from, and they're selling these things called hard seltzers, and you're gonna see them everywhere." And I was like, "Bullshit! Like beer is like at its peak. We're gonna keep growing." And sure enough, a year and a half later, that brand was Bon and Vive, which was making the original spike seltzer, like the one that we
had it at
grabbed,
Mosaic,
like, pre White Claw.
Yeah.
Like they were the first company to go national with this shit, and I was like, "Damn! I wish I would have listened to her." I could have made
Yeah,
some
we tapped
money
it
on that.
we tapped it at the Barajas house. I remember making a party, but it was like a clear, so like no
Yeah.
flavor at all.
Yeah.
And like, how am I supposed to sell this shit? Like, you just get you fucked up. It doesn't even taste
Yeah.
good. And then that's when I understand. All right, add fruit to it. Like make it sweet,
Oh yeah.
and boom, sky's
I hate seltzers. What do you think about them?
Well, in Jackson, with my lobbying business,
Yeah.
I have an apartment up there, and we do breakfast in the morning. People come by in the evening, have a drink and that kind of stuff. And I have a refrigerator, and it's got beer in it, and they like ultra. So
Yeah.
I put ultra in there, but they also like the seltzers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they really do that, and just bottled water.
Yeah.
That, and then I have a bar with multiple bourbons and
Mhm.
other stuff, and they go over and make
Yeah.
a mix with Diet Coke. It's like it's not me to say.
Yeah.
I just try and have available whatever it is that they want.
Yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
the
That's how
seltzers-
lobbying
But
goes.
the seltzers, they started off with the claw, and then went to the high noon, and then
Yeah.
and it's
Oh no, it's been fascinating to watch. Like honestly, I mean, I keep up with all of the like craft segment of alcohol and have pretty religiously for years now. But like for example, right now the fastest growing brand of craft alcohol in America. Give it your wildest guess.
Non-alcoholic cocktails.
No.
Now it's got to be those vodka drinks.
Twisted tea.
Oh shit!
Twisted tea. Yeah. So like that's the shit that you don't know, that like you see twisted tea, like you're seeing people drink them, but you're not like, oh, that's like a national, like really fast growing trend. But like they're capitalizing on like a lot right now. And like, in craft beer, we always have this like opportunity to kind of like see that and then like react to it. So like you start seeing Arnold Palmer sours coming out, like lemon sours with cold filtered tea or cold rested tea on it. It's like, people are like,
Arnold Palmer's every day,
oh yeah,
Fuck.
but no alcohol.
yeah. One of the first beers I made when I was in high school was or not first beers, but first like ciders that I made was a lemon cider that I steeped on black tea to make it like an Arnold Palmer. It was a carbonated Arnold Palmer cider, and it was 8.5%. When I tell you that thing was like the best golf course drink you ever had, you go play 18 and drink 2 or 3 of those, and you're like, whew, I don't care what I'm shooting.
Can you bring it back? Can you bring it back?
I might try to.
My problem was always, by the time I got to 15, I couldn't hit the ball. All I could hit was the ground.
Start digging some trenches down
That's
there.
right.
Hey man, we've all felt that.
So, guys, it's been hour and 30 minutes. All right. Give a shout out right here in this camera right here. There's a black camera in the doorway.
Lost Spring forever, baby.
Yeah.
Long live.
Is tattoo that motherfucker. But give the hours, when y'all are open, how you get to your beer. You're not selling in stores, y'all. You have to go see y'all.
You got to come see us. We're we're open 7 days a week. We're open Monday through Sunday. That's right, 7 days. That adds up. We're open 4 till on Monday, Tuesday. We're open 2 till on Monday, Tuesday, 4 till on Wednesday, Thursday, and then noon till Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sorry, it's a mouthful to get that out. I don't know why our hours are so complicated, but I kind of like it. You can come check out anything we're doing, anything we have coming. Right now we have a like nice hoppy amber coming. We're trying to come up with a name as catchy as Tan Lines, because that's our other amber, and it's very hard. Come see all of the girls bartending. They make delicious craft cocktails. You've had them. I mean, you've had my craft cocktails, but those are also the girls' craft cocktails. And just come hang out with us. We got music, we got food, we got booze, we got good people.
So if you say Lost Spring, to me is
Atmosphere,
quality, caring,
product,
Yeah.
and good people.
Yeah,
because that's important.
Makes sense that why y'all
Family.
Yeah.
And family. Oh yeah,
Daniel, finish that off.
I'm saying, and it's a mess too. Whatever.
it's gonna be a mess. In the back, don't look in the back.
Yeah.
Just if you don't like it, don't look at it. Look
I'll
up
tell you right now,
front.
if you want to experience, you go there because
Bartenders are
you can
prettier.
feel it's so warm, like you feel the love.
Oh yeah.
Like that's
That's all we want.
That's why we talked about you coming on shows. Like you want that feeling.
Mhm.
A lot of bars are losing this shit. Makes me sick because I don't want to go to half the. I'm not going to name names like you said.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places that I don't want to spend time at because you ruined it.
Yeah.
Stop being greedy about money.
You get good people, you get them happy. You guys are paying good prices for good drinks, and like you're not gonna run into that.
But I'll tell you, a lot of people that you're just getting too volume hungry. Love y'all though, and Mom, I love you too. And Emily, I
Cheers.
love you.